My mind is drifting.
My mind is drifting.
The air is still.
The air is still.
A fly annoys my body.
A fly annoys my body.
I strike at it.
I strike at it.
It returns.
It returns.
I am on the beach
I am
at
on
Cleone.
the beach at Cleone.
The sea a low hum.
The sea a low hum.
I am naked.
I am naked.
Who cares?
Who cares?
It is all so unimportant. And yet, I turn the page.
You turn the page.
I turn the page.
You turn the page.
Repeat me.
Repeat me.
It is all
so unimportant.
And yet, she died beautifully.
She died beautifully.
No fear.
No fear.
A wise smile.
A wise smile.
Returning to where she began.
Returning to where she began.
And beyond.
And beyond.
I rest a while.
I rest a while.
On the sand.
On the sand.
At the beach in Cleone.
At the beach in Cleone.
A bird calls.
A bird calls.
And yet, it is all so unimportant. When she died, she didn't die.
She didn't die.
Just went back.
Went back.
Back.
And beyond.
A little lunch.
A tuna sandwich.
A banana.
An orange.
A run on the beach.
A run.
Alone.
Alone.
And yet, I've been here before.
I've been here before.
So quiet on the bed.
So quiet on the bed.
Give us some urine.
Give us some urine.
And she tried.
And she tried.
But now gazing. She has the knowledge.
She has the knowledge.
She is almost there.
She's almost there.
She is there.
She is there.
And yet, we love each other.
We love each other.
We hate each other.
We hate each other.
There is envy.
There is envy.
There is greed.
There is greed.
We whisper.
We whisper.
We don't hear.
We don't hear.
There is nothing to hear. There is nothing not to hear.
There is nothing not to hear.
Goodbye, little lady.
Goodbye, little lady.
She waited for her last child.
Her last child.
And now she knows.
And now she knows.
And yet,
another.
The pain.
The pain.
It is all so unimportant. But why?
And yet. But why?
Have I been here before?
But why?
Foot in the sand.
And yet.
Fears.
But why?
I wonder.
And yet.
I look around.
But why?
My shirt in the sand.
And yet.
A half-buried bottle.
But why?
A logging truck.
And yet.
Clouds on the horizon.
But why?
I'm uneasy.
And yet.
Sucking my pencil.
But why?
And yet.
Does it really matter?
But why?
Does anyone care?
And yet.
I wonder.
But why?
I look around.
And yet. But why?
A little bottle half buried.
And yet.
Have I been here before?
Not me.
Not me.
It is all so unimportant. My mind is drifting.
My mind is drifting.
The air is still.
The air is still.
A fly annoys my body.
A fly annoys my body.
I strike at it.
I strike at it.
It returns.
It returns.
I am on the beach
I
at
am
Cleone.
on the beach at Cleone.
The sea a low hum.
The sea a low hum.
I am naked.
I am naked.
Who cares?
Who cares?
It is all
so unimportant.
She looked beautiful when she died.
She looked beautiful when she died.
And yet. Another day.
Another day.
The next day.
The next day.
The same beach.
The same beach.
The same sky.
The same sky.
And yet. But why?
But why?
The bottle half buried.
The bottle half buried.
The hot sand.
The hot sand.
When will it happen?
When will it happen?
Are you comfortable there?
Are you comfortable there?
I've been there before.
I've been there before.
No, I haven't.
Yes, I have.
Yes, I have.
No, I haven't.
It is all so unimportant. Is this a poem?
Is this a poem?
I don't know, and who cares?
And who cares?
There is so little time.
There is so little time.
There is no time at all.
There is no time at all.
There never was. What?
I don't know.
A fly annoys my body.
A fly annoys my body.
I strike at it.
I strike at it.
Goodbye, little lady.
Goodbye, little lady.
No fear.
No fear.
A wise smile.
A wise smile.
Returning to where she began. And beyond.
And beyond.
She looked beautiful when
she died.
She waited for her last child.
Her last child.
And now she knows.
She knows.
My shadow on the sand.
My shadow on the sand.
I am on the beach at Cleone.
the beach at Cleone.
The old god laughs.
The old god laughs.
Would you please read that again?
The old god laughs.
And yet.
And yet.
But why?
But why?
And a little slower.
A little slower.
So we can hear it.
So we can hear it.
And maybe understand it.
Understand it.
I don't feel like jogging.
I don't feel.
Nothing disappears.
Nothing disappears.
It waits on the edge.
It waits on the edge.
She has crossed over.
She has crossed over.
It is all so unimportant. Your teeth are too white.
Your teeth are too white.
They don't say what they say.
They don't say what they say.
I'm quite sure.
I'm quite sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Would you rather?
Would you rather?
Trouble in the flesh.
Trouble in the flesh.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Don't be afraid.
Why are you so brave?
Why are you so brave?
Don't be afraid.
On the mountain.
On the mountain.
Let's not be sentimental.
Let's not be sentimental.
My tears are inside.
I keep them inside.
Say it again.
I keep them inside.
No.
No.
Say it again.
My tears are inside.
We all failed.
We all failed.
We never failed.
We all failed.
We never failed.
We never failed.
It's all so unimportant.
How can you say that?
It's all so unimportant.
How can you say that?
It's all so unimportant.
But why?
And yet.
Does it really matter?
And yet.
Does anyone care?
And yet.
I wonder.
And yet.
I look around.
And yet.
I sit up.
And yet.
A bottle half buried.
And yet.
Have I been here before?
And yet.
Not me.
And yet.
My mind is drifting.
And yet.
The air is still.
And yet.
But why?
The air is still.
But why?
My mind is drifting.
But why?
Not me.
But why?
Have I been here before?
But why?
A bottle half buried.
But why?
I sit up.
But why?
I look around.
But why?
Does anyone care?
But why?
Does it really matter?
But why?
And yet.
It's all so unimportant.
But why?
How can you say that?
And yet.
It's all so important.
But why?
We all failed.
And yet.
We never failed.
But why?
My tears are inside.
And yet.
Say it again.
But why?
I keep them inside.
And yet.
Let's not be sentimental.
But why?
On the mountain.
And yet.
We are. You so brave.
But why?
And yet.
Why are you so brave?
But why?
On the mountain.
And yet.
Let's not be sentimental.
But why?
I keep them inside.
And yet.
Say it again.
But why?
My tears are inside.
And yet.
We never failed.
But why?
We all failed.
And yet.
It's all so unimportant.
But why?
How can you say that?
And yet.
It's all so unimportant.
But why?
Does it really matter?
Does it really matter? Does anyone care?
I heard your voice.
I heard your voice.
I spoke it.
I spoke it.
He sits in the water.
He sits in the water.
I feel it now.
I feel it now.
Only now.
Only now.
Don't lose the child.
Don't lose the child.
A cloud.
A cloud.
The air is still.
The air is still.
A fly annoys
my body.
I strike it.
I strike it.
It is all so unimportant. You are beautiful. 5 women in my life.
5 women in my life.
They contain everything.
They contain everything.
You are strong. 5 women in my life.
5 women in my life.
They contain
everything. You are suffering.
5 women in my life.
5 women in my life.
They contain everything.
Everything. You are wisdom.
5 women in my life.
5 women in my life.
They contain everything.
They contain everything. You are need.
We love each other.
We don't hear.
We hate each other.
We whisper.
There is envy.
There is envy.
We whisper.
We hate each other.
We don't hear.
We love each other.
There is nothing
There is
to
nothing
hear.
to hear.
There is nothing
There is
not
nothing
to hear.
not to hear.
It is all so unimportant.
The
My
air
mind is
still.
drifting.
My
A fly
mind is
annoys
drifting.
my body.
A
I
fly
strike at
annoys
it.
my body.
It returns.
It returns.
Don't lose the child.
Don't lose the child.
I am on the
I am
beach
on the
at
beach
Cleone.
at Cleone.
The sea a low
I am naked.
hum. I am
The sea
naked.
a low hum.
Who cares?
Who cares?
It is all so unimportant. She looked beautiful
She looked beautiful
when she died,
when she died.
and now she knows.
She knows.
And yet,
And yet,
but why?
but why?
Again returned.
Again returned.
The beach at Cleone.
The beach at Cleone.
Same square of sand.
Same square of sand.
At ease in my body.
At ease in my body.
Another body beside.
Another body beside.
The early sun warming.
The early sun warming.
My mind is
My mind is drifting.
The air is still.
The air is still.
She is here.
She is not here.
She is not here.
She is here.
She is dead,
She
but not
is
dead.
dead, but not dead.
Trouble in the flesh.
Trouble in the flesh.
Everything happens
Everything
for the
happens
best.
for the best.
Does it?
Does it?
I wait.
I wait
at the foot of the rainbow.
at the foot of the rainbow.
I look out.
I look in.
I look in.
I look out.
No fear.
No fear.
Why are you afraid?
So am I.
So am I.
Why are you afraid?
A wise smile.
A wise smile.
And yet, it is all so unimportant. On her face,
On her face,
you are reading.
you are reading.
She has the knowledge.
She has the knowledge.
Beside me,
Beside me,
returning to where
returning
she
to
began,
where she began,
and beyond.
and beyond.
The woman warrior.
The woman warrior.
I dreamed a monster.
I dreamed a monster
who sucked me in.
who sucked me in.
Rubber inflated.
Rubber inflated.
It felt good.
It felt good.
She is restless.
She is restless.
When she died.
When she died,
She didn't die.
She didn't die.
Just went back.
Went back.
Back. Waited for her last child.
Her last child.
And now she
And now
knows.
she knows.
It is all so unimportant. Turn the page.
Turn the page.
Sit a while.
Sit a while.
And look out.
And look out.
Squint at the sun.
Squint at the sun.
Aluminum cans.
Aluminum
reflecting
cans
colors.
reflecting colors.
A bottle half buried
A
in
bottle
the sand.
half buried in the sand.
Ancient logs resting.
Ancient logs resting.
I am resting.
I am resting.
What is it?
What is it?
Your voice on the telephone.
Your voice on the telephone.
Masking your pain.
Masking your pain.
But why?
But why?
I've been here before.
I've been here before.
At the foot
At
of
the
the
foot
rainbow.
of the rainbow.
A celebration.
A celebration.
Her body so frail.
Body so frail.
Wiser in that proud moment.
Wiser
There is no time.
in that proud moment.
Only the moment.
There is no time.
Which is eternity.
Only the moment.
Everything happens for the
Everything
best.
happens for the best.
Really?
Really.
Where did I hear that?
Was it my voice?
Was it my voice?
Where did I hear that?
It is all so unimportant,
It is all
and yet
so
it is all
unimportant,
so unimportant.
and yet it
but
is so
why?
important.
And why are
But
we
why
back
and
at
why
the beginning,
are
or
we
is
back
it the
at
end?
beginning, or is it the end?
Are you lonely?
Are you lonely?
Have you something to
Have you
say?
something to say?
I'm listening.
I'm listening.
He always said
He
the answer
always said
is
the
contained
answer is
within the
contained
question.
within the question.
I've always said,
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I've always said,
And you think this is growth?
this is growth.
Who cares?
Who cares?
We met on the mountain.
We met
at the foot of the rainbow.
on the mountain.
You wore a smile.
At the foot of the rainbow.
But I saw inside.
You wore a smile.
Your pain.
But I saw inside.
I didn't want to tell you.
Your pain.
But I had to.
I didn't want to tell you.
Not a cloud.
But I had to.
Where are the laughs?
Where's the humor?
5 women in my life.
We met on the beach.
You are beautiful.
5 women in my life.
They contain everything.
We met in the city.
You are need.
We met in the woods.
You are character.
We met too soon.
You are child.
We met too late.
You are suffering.
Where did we meet?
Did we meet?
You are wisdom.
They contain everything.
You are strong.
Did we meet?
And we said yes.
And I said goodbye.
On the mountain.
And we said goodbye.
At the foot of your bed.
And we said goodbye.
At your door.
It is all so unimportant. And yet. But why?
And yet.
I am on the beach
I am on
at
the
Cleone.
beach at Cleone.
When will it happen?
When will it happen?
Have I been here
Have
before?
I been here before?
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
And nobody cares. I care.
But what do I know?
What do I know?
I care.
And what should I know?
And what can I let you know?
And what can I let you know?
And what should I know?
That I don't know?
I don't know.
And yet?
Your teeth are too white.
And yet?
They don't say what they say.
And yet?
Nothing disappears.
And yet?
It waits on the edge.
And yet?
We close our brain.
And yet?
It exists.
And yet?
Would you please
And yet?
read that again?
And yet?
A little slower
And yet?
so we can hear it?
And yet?
Who cares?
And yet?
And maybe understand it.
And yet?
You in your space,
And yet?
me in mine,
And yet?
and I've been there before.
And yet?
And there,
And yet?
and gone and returned.
And
Does
yet?
it really matter?
And yet?
Does anyone care?
And yet?
I wonder.
And
But
yet?
why?
I wonder.
But why?
Does anyone care?
But why?
Does it really matter?
But why?
And gone and returned.
But why?
And there.
But why?
And I've always been there before.
But why?
Me in mine.
But why?
You in your
But
space.
why?
And maybe understand
But
it.
why?
Who cares?
Why?
So we can hear it.
But why?
A little slower.
But why?
Read that again.
But why?
Would you please?
But why?
It exists.
But why?
We close our brain.
But why?
It waits on the edge.
But why?
Nothing disappears.
But why?
They don't say what they say.
But why?
Your teeth are too white.
But why? And
But
yet,
why?
but
And
why?
It is all so unimportant.
It is all
and
so
yet,
unimportant.
It is all so unimportant.
And yet, it is all
And
so
yet,
unimportant.
who really cares?
And why? And who really cares?
We walk on the beach
We walk
together.
on the beach together.
I run alone.
She waits.
We return
In silence. We return.
What is there to say?
What is there to say?
And when she said goodbye,
And when she said
nothing,
goodbye,
for there
she
was
said
nothing to
for
say.
there was nothing to say.
A fly annoys my body.
A fly annoys my body.
There are no flies.
There are no flies.
I strike at it.
I strike at it.
My hand on her leg.
My hand on her leg.
My shadow in the sand.
My shadow in the sand.
Children's voices
Children's
from sun-baked
voices
surf.
from sun-baked surf.
Drifting moon.
Don't lose the child.
Don't lose the child.
Drifting moon.
Where are you now?
Where are you now?
Are you in pain?
Are you in pain? Did I hear you laugh?
Are you in pain?
What was your voice?
Are you in pain?
Hawks over the cliff.
Are you in pain?
When will it happen?
Who knows?
Who doesn't?
Who isn't supposed to?
And why?
My pencil rushes
My
ahead
pencil
of my
rushes
head.
ahead of my head.
Your body is still.
Her body is still.
So quiet on the bed.
Give us some urine.
Give us some urine.
And she tried.
And she tried.
Thinking it was what she should
Thinking
do.
it was what she should do.
Then she stopped trying.
Then she stopped.
And now?
And now?
She has the knowledge.
Goodbye, little lady.
Goodbye, little lady.
No fear.
No fear.
A wise smile.
A wise smile.
She looked beautiful when she died.
When she died.
Returning
to where she had begun.
And beyond.
And beyond.
And now she knows.
And now she knows.
And yet.
And yet.
But why?
But why?
And it goes on.
And it goes on.
What goes on?
What goes on?
He always said
the answer is contained within the question.
Was there a question?
Was there an answer?
Was there an answer?
Was there a question?
It is all so unimportant. What is it?
What is it?
It is.
What is it?
Why must we lie so?
Why?
I'm sitting on the beach at Cleone. My mind is drifting. The air is still. The sea a low hum. I sit up. I look around. Have I been here before? I look around.
Here before?
Don't be afraid. Everybody knows. Why are you so brave? Let's not be sentimental. We said goodbye at the gate.
On the mountain.
At the foot of your bed.
At your door.
We waved.
A light turned green.
We always waved.
Everything is authentic.
A bottle half buried in the sand.
Buried in the sand.
Ancient logs resting.
Ancient logs resting.
I've been here before.
I've been here before.
The sea a low hum.
A low hum.
She looked beautiful when she died.
She looked beautiful when she died.
The old God laughs.
The old God laughs.
And now she knows.
And now she knows her proudest moment.
And yet. But why?
Yet,
but why?
But why?
This is the fourth day.
This is the fourth day.
And I am not finished.
And I am not finished.
There is more to say.
There is more to say.
More than I expected.
More than I expected.
I am sitting on the beach at
Cleone.
My mind is wandering.
My mind is wandering.
The air is still.
The air is still.
The sea a low hum.
The sea a low hum.
A family of four.
A family of four.
They move awkwardly.
They move awkwardly.
What is it I need to say?
What is it I need to say?
The bottle is gone.
The bottle is gone.
A body into the sea.
A body into the sea.
The family returns.
The family returns.
I am seeking something.
Seeking something.
It is all so unimportant. And yet.
But why?
I've heard this before.
Before.
I was on the highway.
I was on the highway.
When you died. But I was there.
At the foot of your bed.
But I was there.
On the mountain.
But I was there.
At the gate.
But I was there.
Sitting with you.
But I was there.
Whispering in your ear.
And you heard.
And you heard.
And last night. I felt your tears on my chest.
Tears on my chest.
Do you understand?
Do you understand?
I am blessed by the love of five.
Do you understand?
And each I love.
Do you understand?
This is possible.
Do you understand?
This is not easy.
Do you understand?
But I am blessed.
Do you understand?
By the love of five.
Do you understand?
And each I love.
And each I love.
And you. She died beautifully.
And beyond.
So quiet on the bed.
She's almost there.
Give us some urine.
She has the knowledge.
And she tried.
And now she knows.
But then remembered.
She waited for her last child.
No fear.
A wise smile.
A wise smile.
No fear.
She waited for her last child.
But then remembered.
And now she knows.
And she tried.
She has the knowledge.
Give us some urine.
She is almost there.
So quiet on the bed.
And beyond.
She died beautifully.
It's getting late. I never return.
It's getting late.
To this place.
I may never return.
But who cares?
To this place.
There is nothing.
But who cares?
To forget.
There is nothing to forget.
There is nothing to remember.
There is nothing.
The sand will rearrange itself.
To remember.
My friends.
The sand.
Will forgive me.
Will arrange itself.
It will all seem unimportant.
My friends will forgive me.
Let's not be sentimental.
It will all seem unimportant.
Let's not be sentimental.
My friends will forgive me.
It was.
It will all seem unimportant.
It is.
It was.
And yet.
It is.
But why?
And yet.
Everybody knows.
But why?
And nobody cares.
But why?
We close our brains.
But why?
Nothing disappears.
But why?
It waits on the edge.
But why?
It exists for those who allow it.
But why?
And it waits.
But why?
For those who deny it.
But why?
It is because it is.
But why?
And always will be.
But why?
I am a counter.
And yet?
I count by tens.
And yet?
Letters, words, people.
And yet?
Telephone poles, fence posts, anything that is countable.
And yet?
I am trapped in the rhythm of 10.
And yet?
Counting these lines.
And yet?
Counting them backwards.
And yet?
I am loved by 5.
And yet?
I love 5.
And yet?
That makes 10.
And yet?
But why?
I don't know.
But why?
It's all so unimportant.
But why?
I don't know.
But why?
I wonder.
But why?
Does it really matter?
But why?
You
I am
are
in my
in
space.
yours.
But why? You
I
are
am in my
yours.
space.
But why? Your
They don't
teeth
say
are too
what
white.
they say.
But why?
Your
they don't
teeth are
say
too
what they
white.
say. But why? I care.
don't.
And yet,
You are alone.
and yet,
You will not let me in.
and yet,
You are too proud.
and yet,
I am afraid to come too close.
and yet,
You may reject me.
and yet,
You may not.
and yet,
Either way is wrong.
and yet,
I am not your love.
and yet,
Let's not be sentimental.
you must find your own.
You must find your own.
I don't want
I
to tell
didn't
you.
want to tell you,
First we looked at pictures,
but I had to.
but I had to.
First we looked at pictures.
Doesn't she look happy?
Doesn't she look well?
Doesn't she look
Doesn't
well?
she look happy?
I told you slowly,
I
leaving
told you
out
slowly,
as much
leaving out
as I
as
could,
much as I
watching
could,
you come
watching
apart,
you come
and
apart,
I was frightened.
and I was frightened.
And yet,
And yet,
but why?
but why?
And I've been here before,
Before,
at the foot of
at
the
the
rainbow.
foot of the rainbow.
Sad, sad moment.
Where is the humor?
5 women in my life.
There is a scum on the beach,
They contain everything. One is love.
blown in from the storm.
One is strength.
The sand is crusted,
One is need.
walking north on 10 Mile Beach.
One is suffering.
Perhaps for the last time.
I feel her tears.
Perhaps for the last time.
Another is suffering.
Perhaps for the last time.
She is too old to suffer so.
Perhaps for the last time.
Another is suffering.
Perhaps for the last time.
She is afraid.
Perhaps for the last time.
She may lose me.
Perhaps for the last time.
Another is suffering.
Walking north on 10 Mile Beach.
She is trying to grow.
Perhaps for the last time.
And it hurts.
A ghastly green scum.
They are all suffering.
Perhaps for the last time.
I didn't realize.
I am at a new place.
Am I to blame?
Here I feel the wind.
Perhaps and perhaps not.
I am at water's edge.
It is all so important.
It is all so
yet-
unimportant.
It is all so
And yet-
unimportant.
It is all so
why?
unimportant.
And who really cares?
But why?
And what difference can it make?
And who really cares, and what difference can it make? Let's not be sentimental.
But I learned a lesson.
I learned a lesson.
At the foot of her bed.
I learned a lesson.
Watching her let go.
I learned a lesson.
A wise smile.
I saw it.
Crept across her face.
I saw it.
When she died.
When she died.
She didn't die.
Didn't die.
She just let go.
Just let go.
Of all that sadness.
And pain.
And moved on.
I'm walking south on 10 Mile Beach.
Said goodbye at the gate.
Perhaps for the last time.
She wore a smile.
Perhaps for the last time.
But I didn't believe it.
A chill in the air.
I held her.
Perhaps for the last time.
Let's not be sentimental.
Not a cloud in the sky.
That's not our style.
Moving south is my space.
We are the stoic ones.
Perhaps for the last time.
When will it happen?
Perhaps for the last time.
The old god laughs.
Perhaps for the last
time. We've been
time.
dancing.
Perhaps for the last time.
To your melody.
I am trapped in the rhythm of 10.
I lose the beat.
Perhaps for the last time.
I've never questioned your heart.
Perhaps for the last
or
time.
Or your soul.
Let's not be sentimental.
But how well
perhaps
do you listen?
For the last time.
And how well do you hear?
What was that?
Don't lose the child.
What was that?
Everything is authentic.
What was that?
What was that?
Turn the page.
We never failed.
We failed.
We failed.
We never failed.
We begin as we end.
We begin as we end.
Perhaps for the last time. It is all so unimportant, and yet.
And yet.
But why?
But why?
This is the fifth part.
This is the fifth part.
This is the fifth day.
There are 5 women.
There are 2 voices.
I am counting again.
And the number is 10.
All numbers are 10.
This is a brief summation.
This is a brief
of what
summation
I have said
of what I have said and why.
It is all so unimportant, and yet.
And yet.
Something needed to be said.
Something.
Is it understood?
Does it have a meaning?
Does it have a meaning?
Is it understood?
By whom?
And for whom?
Today I gathered garbage from the beach at
garbage
Cleone.
from the beach at Cleone.
Today I am clothed.
Today I am clothed.
The sun has had too much of me.
The sun.
The air is still.
Has had too much.
The sea a low hum.
Of me.
I am alone.
The air
in
is
my
still.
Thoughts.
The sea a hum.
Wondering.
I am alone.
If something needs to be said.
In my thoughts.
If I have said it.
Wondering.
And if it will be understood.
If something needs to be said.
It is all so unimportant.
If I have said it.
It is all so important.
And if it will be misunderstood.
I've been here before.
It is also unimportant.
I have learned.
I have learned.
About the women in my life.
Women in my life.
About their suffering.
Their suffering.
And about death.
About death
from another watching her.
Watching her
let go. I have learned the lesson that we must die
in order to live.
That was her proudest moment.
And I have been here before.
She waited for her last child.
And I have been here before.
Her body so frail.
And I've been here before.
And when she died.
And I've been here before.
She didn't die.
And I have been here.
And I've been here.
Before.
Before.
Just went back.
And I've been here before.
And now she knows.
Now we all know.
But we don't know.
Shortly, I will
get up.
Take my towel and garbage.
Take my body.
And depart this beach.
And yet.
I will not be missed.
And yet.
The beach will never mention my name.
And yet.
Persons will not mention my name. I may wonder.
And yet.
If I was ever here.
And yet.
But why?
I may forget.
But why?
It is all so unimportant.
But why?
But I am on the beach at Cleone.
But why?
My 5th day here.
But why?
Clothed against the sun.
But why?
No birds today.
But why?
The sky is blue.
The sea a low hum.
The sea a low hum.
My mind is drifting.
My mind is drifting.
Have I said it?
Have I said it?
Is it understood?
Is it understood?
Who cares?
Who cares?
It is all so unimportant, and yet...
But why?
And yet...
But why?
And yet...
But why?
To be aware that one is unaware.
To be aware
is an awareness
that one is aware
of consequence.
An awareness
An
of
awareness
consequence.
of consequence.
Not unlike remembering
Not
that
unlike
one is
remembering
forgetting.
that one is forgetting. Is there reason
Is there
for concern
reason for concern
when one is no longer aware that one is no longer aware?
when one is no longer aware
And one no longer remembers?
that one is no longer aware?
That one no longer remembers?
That one is no longer aware?
That one no longer remembers?
And one no longer remembers?
Is there cause for
Is there
concern?
cause for concern?
Or is unawareness and forgetfulness
Cause for concern?
a blessing,
Or is it awareness
a cause for celebration?
and forgetfulness?
For one has passed
A
beyond
blessing?
guilt and apprehension.
A cause for celebration?
Or to be aware that
Or
one
to
is
be aware
unaware
that one is unaware?
when one has passed beyond the barriers
When one has passed
of guilt and apprehension.
beyond the barriers,
It is better to know
it is better
that one no longer knows
know
or feels
that one no longer knows,
or feels
to know,
that one no longer knows.
or feels.
It is better to know. Is there reason,
Is there reason for concern?
And to what degree?
And for what reasons?
When one has passed
When one has
beyond the barriers
passed beyond the
of
barriers
guilt,
and apprehension,
has one lost one's capacity to know?
has one lost one's capacity
Or is one just no longer interested
to know,
in knowing? In knowing.
or is one just not interested?
To be aware
When one is no longer aware
and one no longer remembers
that one no longer remembers,
is a cause for celebration.
is this cause for celebration?
The question, is it better to be
Is
aware
it better
that one
to be
has
aware that
forgotten?
one has forgotten?
The question. The question.
I've forgotten. I've forgotten.
Open to any page.
What is a sentence?
Begin reading.
A sentence
At any place.
is what they are.
On any page.
After when?
In any direction.
They are free
It is all the same.
to be told.
But never alike.
All this is what they do.
Take another page.
Two will do
Repeat the process.
is not a sentence.
And what do you have?
What is a sentence?
You have Gertrude Stein.
Now what is a sentence?
Is she out of her mind?
Not that now.
Is she into her mind?
What is a sentence?
Repetition, you claim?
With not now.
A form of insanity?
That is not a sentence now.
Or is it stability?
A sentence should be theirs.
What is she saying?
This is a piece
I challenge you
of a sentence,
to tell me,
but not a part.
Gertrude Stein not included.
Not interesting.
She is into her mind
What is a sentence?
and out of our minds.
A sentence is within.
And we
With within,
are out of her mind
adorn apt to,
and into ours.
he likes to call it,
Answer this question.
they have preferences
There is no answer,
without a time
but answer it
that they ate with,
anyway.
or at all.
How?
They have 9 weights for them.
Does anyone proofread this mysterial?
What is it?
Other than Stein herself?
With Worth.
Who would probably reply
that they came,
a serious smile,
to have to,
enveloping,
to do the cause any good.
There are no mistakes.
What is
and
a
if
sentence
there were,
that they are willing to pause,
which they aren't,
with which
they would
were,
probably,
as made,
improve upon the text,
to have spoken it,
and if they didn't,
with a custom,
they certainly would,
let alone to their nicety,
do no harm
with it.
Gertrude Stein,
as if more can,
has already seen to that,
shall have it.
So,
as account,
may I repeat myself?
On account,
I shall.
To their meeting.
I have.
Let it be.
I begin.
Right away come.
Open to any page.
What is a sentence?
Begin reading.
It is easy.
At any place.
To be hoped.
In any direction.
With a sentence.
It is all the same.
That would be a good sentence.
All the same.
This is a sentence.
The same.
Which is a sentence
not at all the same.
They remain
all the same.
After a while.
I wonder.
What is a sentence?
No, I don't.
This an old sentence.
I just read.
Think of that.
On and on.
All these new.
In any direction.
And old sentences.
Taking each word.
Think of that.
As a complete sentence.
A sentence is a disappointment.
Forget about.
This an old sentence.
What a sentence is.
And not interesting.
It is nothing.
For which they like.
In particular.
More interesting.
Only what it is.
This has been to be.
And for Gertrude Stein,
a sentence should have no perfume.
Everything and nothing.
This is no sense a sentence.
Is and is not.
A sentence is to hear from me.
A sentence?
What is a sentence?
A sentence. I am here. Here where I am, and there is nothing else. I am here.
When we hold
here where I am,
the weeping person,
and there is nothing.
We're holding
nothing else.
Ourselves.
I am.
When we hold
here
the weeping person,
where I am,
we're holding,
and there is
ourselves.
Nothing else.
I measure my days.
I've forgotten.
With cups of tea.
More episodes.
I fill these pages
of forgetfulness
silently
than I can remember.
There's a scent of sadness.
I measure my days
in the air
with cups of tea.
My sadness.
I fill these pages
undefinable but present
silently
in my body.
I am here.
An infection.
Here where I am.
Of uncertain origin.
And there is nothing. Nothing else.
Not enough time.
Not enough.
Not enough time.
Time.
The chant.
Not enough.
Of those
time.
Who can't.
The chant.
Because.
Of those.
They choose.
Who can't.
Not to.
Because they choose.
Not enough time.
Not to. And these days will pass.
Not enough time.
Quiet days.
Not enough time.
Frozen in the softness of time.
The chant of those.
Days of loneliness.
Who can't.
When life sits.
Because they choose.
Stark and silent.
Not to.
In the currents of melancholy.
Not enough time.
Not enough time. Nothing.
Recapture innocence
is
through forgetfulness.
Really important.
Total rapt attention.
And nothing
to nothing
is more important.
Which is everything.
Than nothing.
Is really nothing.
Nothing.
Is really
more important.
More important is really
nothing.
Is really
more important than nothing.
Don't get tangled.
Don't lose
in your mind.
your senses.
It's senseless.
It's mindless.
I watched.
Don't get tangled
the smallest finger
in your mind
of your hand.
It's senseless.
Saw it breathe.
Don't lose
felt it
your senses
as my own.
It's mindless.
Then your shoulder.
I am here.
Imperfect and vulnerable.
Here where I am.
Saw it tremble.
And there is nothing.
Kissed it.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
What more can be said
What more
for any creation
can be said
than that it lives
for any creation
in the highest region
than that it lives
of comprehension?
in the highest region
What more can be said?
of comprehension?
What more can be said?
What more can be said?
What more? Awakened this morning,
Awakened
freshest,
this morning,
newest morning,
freshest,
of all eternity.
newest morning,
Awakened
of all eternity,
this morning,
awakened
in yet another
this morning,
strange bed,
in yet another
in another
strange bed,
strange motel,
in another strange motel,
strange city.
in another strange city.
I will
never understand.
Awakened
this morning
to the comfort, of myself, but to the discomfort of realizing that I am still
that I am
unresolved,
still
but realizing
unresolved,
but such discomfort
realizing
is a clear signal
that much discomfort
of how far
is a clear signal
I've advanced.
of how far I've advanced. Awakened this morning
with
you
freshest
on my mind,
newest morning
in the still darkness
of all eternity,
of night.
Awakened
Thinking
this morning
that poetry
in yet another
is not enough,
strange bed,
that poetry
in another strange motel,
is a language
in another city
which may not
I will never understand.
be understood. Awakened this morning
to the comfort
to the echoings
of myself,
of those words,
but to the discomfort
which I've spoken
of realizing
to so many
that I am
young souls
still unresolved,
in this strange land.
but realizing
Rather,
that such discomfort
in this land
is a clear signal
where I am a stranger,
of how far I've advanced.
Awakened this morning.
Awakened this morning.
Awakened this morning.
This morning. Awakened this morning. Freshest, newest morning.
I will never be
in all eternity
understood. I will never
in all eternity
be understood. I will
in all eternity
never be
in all
understood.
Eternity
in this land where I am a stranger.
Dada,
nothing
like nature,
is nothing,
is without meaning.
If anything,
there is something
nothing
divine
is nothing
in being.
If anything,
spontaneous.
Anything,
Dada,
if
like nature,
nothing
is without meaning.
Nothing.
There is
nothing.
Something
is
divine.
Nothing.
In being.
If anything.
Spontaneous.
Nothing is.
Nothing is.
Nothing. If anything.
Dada wished to destroy.
To replace.
The reasonable frauds of men.
The logical nonsense.
Dada,
with an illogical nonsense,
like nature
is divine,
without meaning.
Nothing is
nothing.
An illegal nonsense
is nothing.
Divine,
if anything,
is nothing.
Dada, like nature, is
Dada,
without
like
meaning.
Nature, is without.
Dada is divine,
meaning.
Meaning,
Nothing
is nothing. Nothing, if anything. When?
When they did not see me,
How many times?
I saw them again.
Who?
I did not like it.
Did you try?
I count her dresses again.
I do.
Can you draw a dress?
I wonder.
In a minute.
It could be anything.
Believe in your mistake.
Act quickly.
Act quickly.
Forget the taste.
Do you mind the tooth?
I understand it.
Do not be careless.
I am told.
I am careful.
Yes, you are. I am told.
And obedient.
Yes, you are. I am told.
And industrious.
Certainly. This is another part.
Come to sing and sit.
What was that?
Repeat it.
What was that?
I repeat it.
What was I saying?
Can you speak quickly?
How many times?
Can you cough?
If I am able.
Remember me to him.
What would you like?
Remember that I want a cloak.
Say it.
I know what I want to say.
It's not that simple.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I forgive you everything.
I forgive you everything.
And there is nothing to forgive.
And there is nothing to forgive.
The dog?
Say a color.
You mean pale?
I don't have any.
No, we want dark brown.
Has it been tried?
I am tried of blue.
Inside out.
Shall I wear my blue?
Why not?
Do.
Here is the milk.
Thank you for the cow.
It drinks white.
Thank you for the cow.
It tastes blue.
Thank you very much.
There is time.
Collecting her dresses.
Counting her dresses.
Shall you be annoyed?
Never.
Not at all.
I'm not asking.
Can you be thankful?
I don't know.
For what?
For you.
For me?
Do you like it?
I do not like this table.
I don't understand.
I can understand that.
Who is looking?
A feather.
Anyway.
It weighs more than a feather.
This is ticklish.
It is not tiring to count dresses.
I have that feeling.
What is your belief?
I thought we were...
In exchange for a table?
I never did.
In exchange for or on a table?
We were fooled.
We were satisfied.
I never did before.
Can you say you like Negro sculpture?
He swallowed it.
The meaning of windows is air.
And tasted pink.
And a door.
A door should be opened.
A door should be closed.
How can I tell?
Can you manage it?
I'm not sure.
You mean dresses?
What I mean.
Do I mean dresses?
If you don't mean it.
I mean 1, 2, 3.
Fast enough.
Can you spell quickly?
Who cares?
I can spell very quickly.
Anybody can.
So can my sister-in-law.
I'm not sure.
Can she?
I think I understand.
Have you any way of sitting?
But who knows?
You mean comfortably?
What is your belief?
Naturally.
I understand you. Once I was.
Are you afraid?
What do you answer?
I am not any more
Indeed
afraid
not.
of water than they are.
It never happened.
Don't be insolent.
And obedient.
We need clothes.
A refinement.
And wool.
Yes, you are.
And gloves.
And industrious.
And waterproofs.
Certainly.
Can you laugh at me?
Without telling?
And then say,
together?
Married.
I tried.
Yes.
Do you remember how he looked at the clothes?
How he looked at the clothes?
Do you remember what he said
Do you remember
about
what
wishing?
he said about wishing?
Do you remember
Do you
all
remember
about
all
it?
about it?
We are.
Oh, yes.
And amused.
You are stimulated.
You are stimulated.
And amused.
Oh, yes.
We are.
So many things.
What can I say I'm fond of?
What have you found?
I can see plenty of instances.
That you are fond of.
Can you?
I'm staying in tonight.
For that, we will make an arrangement.
Number the pages.
You mean some drawings?
Just look.
Do I talk of art?
Number the pages.
All numbers are beautiful to me.
I have some food.
Of course they are.
We hope so.
Thursday?
A good-looking day.
We hope for Thursday.
With a wish.
So do we.
Why worry?
Was she angry?
It won't hurt.
Whom do you mean, was she angry?
Was she angry?
Was she angry with you?
There are times.
Reflect more.
When I wonder.
I do want a garden.
Just what it is.
Do you?
That possesses you.
And clothes?
To carry on.
I do not mention clothes.
In the manner.
Now you didn't, but I do.
That you do.
Yes, I know.
He is not tiring.
He is tiring.
He is tiring.
He is not tiring.
Indeed, no.
No, indeed.
Number the pages.
I can count them.
I misunderstood no one.
You do not misunderstand me.
You do not misunderstand me.
I misunderstand no one.
This is part 33.
Can you explain my wishes?
Each line is an act.
In the morning?
Each act a thought.
To me?
Each thought complete.
Yes, in there.
That is what I thought.
Then you do not explain.
I just did.
I do not press for an answer.
These are different times.
Can you expect her today?
Paint a picture.
We saw a dress.
Paint another.
We saw a man.
Absurd.
Sarcasm.
How do you know?
We can be proud of tomorrow.
This is not easy.
And the vests.
I'm not sure.
And the doors.
Where I am.
I always remember the roads.
Sing a song.
Can you speak English?
In English.
In London.
She ran off.
And here?
With me.
Count her dresses.
Clean her dresses.
Collect her dresses.
Collect her dresses.
Clean her dresses.
Count her dresses.
Have the system.
He is far better.
She polished the table.
Better by far.
Count her dresses again.
Count the lines.
When can you come?
What was that?
When can you come?
I'll try.
Breathe for me.
How would you say it?
I can say that.
We need rain.
Isn't it funny?
She has trouble.
In the meantime,
it made a difference.
Can you say,
she is too well?
What?
I never said that.
We have been told.
A misfortune.
Oh, read that.
This is the final act.
I do not understand this homecoming.
It's getting late.
In the evening.
I'm getting tired.
Naturally.
Make the bed.
We have decided.
Brush my teeth.
Indeed.
Good night.
If you wish.
My love.
I kiss your face.
Thy hair is one kingdom.
Your sweet, glowing face.
The king whereof is darkness.
And I will always.
Thy forehead.
Remember.
Is a flight of flowers.
And remember.
Thy head.
Still.
Is a quick forest.
That face.
Filled with sleeping birds.
Before me now.
Thy breasts are swarms.
Our eyes meet.
Of white bees.
And each see.
Upon the bough.
The others.
Of thy body.
And I will always.
Thy body to me is April.
Remember and remember still.
In whose armpits.
Those eyes.
Is the approach of spring.
Before me now.
Thy thighs are white horses.
Your body
yoked to a chariot of kings.
Passes.
They are the striking of a good minstrel.
Passing
between them.
Your body
is always a pleasant song.
And it is pleasing.
My love.
And I will always
thy head
remember.
Is a casket of the cool dew.
And remember still.
Of thy mind.
That body.
The hair of thy head is one warrior.
Before me now.
Innocent of defeat.
Your voice.
Thy hair upon thy shoulders.
Is soft.
Is an army with victory and with trumpets.
And it murmurs love.
Thy legs are the trees of dreaming.
And I will always remember.
Whose fruit is the very eatage of forgetfulness.
And remember still.
Thy lips are satraps in scarlet.
That voice.
In whose kiss is the combining of kings.
And now.
Thy wrists are holy.
Is now.
Thy feet upon thy ankles.
Now.
Are flowers in vases
and
of
I
silver.
will always remember.
Is thy beauty is the dilemma of flutes.
And remember still.
Thy eyes.
Your love.
Are the betrayal.
And my love.
Of bells comprehended.
For me and for you.
Through innocence.
Before me now.
I am on the threshold.
And it goes on.
Of the moment.
And it goes on.
Of birth.
And on.
Of the moment.
And on.
Of sight.
It goes on.
Of the moment.
It goes.
Of touch.
On it goes.
Of the moment.
It goes.
Of the first tear.
On it goes.
The moment.
And on.
Of laughter.
It goes.
The moment.
And on.
Of embarrassment.
It goes.
It goes.
On.
Of anger.
And on.
The moment.
On.
Of the first love.
Why must it
Moment
go on?
of rejection.
Why?
Moment of success.
Why must it go?
Moment
Must it
of failure.
go? It must.
Moment
It must
of the first disaster.
go on.
Of frustration.
And it goes on.
Of crisis.
And it goes on.
Of marriage.
On beyond.
Of the first child.
Beyond on.
Moment.
It must go.
Of divorce.
Beyond.
Moment.
Beyond on.
Of loneliness.
It goes beyond.
Moment.
On it goes.
Of peace.
It goes.
Moment of the first illness.
And it goes on.
The moment.
Do you feel it?
Of truth.
Going on?
The moment.
Going on, going on.
Of anxiety.
Do you feel it?
The moment.
Do you feel it?
Of longing.
Going on.
The moment.
And on.
Of the first falling.
Beyond.
Of the moment.
Why?
Of hopelessness.
Must it?
Of the moment.
Must it?
Of senility.
Go on.
Of the moment.
And on.
Of death.
And on.
Of the moment.
And it goes on.
Of the first returning.
And it goes on.
I am on the threshold.
It goes.
Of every moment.
It goes.
Every moment.
On.
Every moment.
Going on.
Every moment.
It goes on.
Every moment.
Beyond.
Every moment.
Beyond.
Every moment.
Beyond.
Every moment.
Beyond. On.
What is sad? Really very sad. At least to me it's sad.
What is sad?
So very sad.
Really very sad.
Is the withering.
At least to me.
That comes in middle age.
It's sad.
It comes.
So very sad.
We see it.
Is the withering.
Of the soul.
That comes.
A withering.
In middle age.
To the soul.
It comes.
We see it.
We see it.
In middle age.
Of the soul.
A withering.
A withering.
Of the heart.
To the soul.
And it is sad.
We see it.
So very sad.
In middle age.
This withering of the heart.
A withering.
This withering that comes.
Of the heart.
In middle age.
And it is sad.
A withering of the soul.
So very sad.
A withering of the heart.
This withering.
A withering of joy.
Of the heart.
And laughter.
This withering that comes.
Is sad.
In middle age.
So sad. That withering of the soul.
A withering of the soul.
That withering of the heart.
A withering of the heart.
That withering of joy.
A withering of joy.
And laughter.
And laughter.
Withering of the mind.
Is sad.
That comes.
Is so sad.
In middle age.
That withering of the soul.
How sad that withering.
That withering.
That comes.
Of the heart.
In middle age.
That withering.
That comes.
Of joy.
In middle age.
And laughter.
That comes.
Withering.
In middle age.
Of the mind.
That comes.
How sad.
In middle age.
That withering. That
comes in.
Middle age.
Comes in.
Middle age.
Comes in.
Middle age.
Comes in.
Middle age.
Just the madness of the sanity of our lives.
Just the madness,
he said,
of the sanity of our lives.
The masses,
he said,
live lives of quiet desperation.
Of quiet desperation.
The madness of negativity.
The madness.
A state to be mourned.
Of negativity.
Where sanity abuses existence.
A state to be mourned.
The madness of
the sanity of our lives. Of our lives.
He said,
but there are others.
Life is far too serious.
Who live in the madness. Who delight in the madness.
Not to be taken lightly.
Of the now.
Of the now.
The now.
He said,
present in present time.
The masses live lives.
For there is no other time.
Of quiet desperation.
It's enough to drive one to madness. And it does.
The masses live lives of
quiet desperation.
He said,
just the madness.
Life is far too serious.
Of the sanity of our lives.
Not to be taken lightly.
Each moment, a new beginning and a new ending from which a new beginning, from a new ending, from which a new beginning. The essence of the existential life is not regulated
of the existential life
by understanding,
is not regulated
because understanding
by understanding
would imply reasoning,
because understanding,
which would imply thought,
would imply reasoning,
which would suggest a cognitive process,
which would imply thought,
which might disrupt
which might
that
disrupt
which is
that
absolute.
Which is absolute.
The existential life. The existential life. The madness of now.
The madness
of being present.
Of the now.
In present time.
The only place we can possibly be.
The only place.
The now.
We can possibly be.
And all the other nows.
All the other nows. Now.
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 In the madness
of the sanity of our lives.
Gertrude Stein,
sweet, sweet,
was a lady,
sweet, sweet,
who wrote things,
sweet tea,
in a strange,
Susie Asado,
yet in a strange way.
Sweet, sweet,
Gertrude Stein,
sweet, sweet,
was a lady,
sweet tea,
who said things,
Susie Asado,
she must have said,
Susie Asado,
but wrote things,
which is,
she wrote in a strange,
a told sure tray.
Yet in a strange way.
A lean on
Gertrude
the
Stein
shoe.
said words.
This means
a lady said.
Slips hers.
Gertrude Stein said words.
When the ancient light gray
Yet in a strange
is clean,
way.
It is yellow.
She wrote words.
It is a silver cellar.
She wrote words.
This is a please.
Words.
This is a please.
She wrote things.
There are the sades to jelly.
In a strange.
These are the wets.
A strange.
These say the sets.
Yet.
To leave.
In a strange way.
A crown to Incy.
Gertrude Stein.
Incy is short for incubus.
Yet in a way.
A pot.
Wrote words.
A pot is a beginning.
Wrote, said, says.
Of a rare bit of trees.
In a way.
Trees tremble.
Yet strange.
The old vats are in
Was
baubles.
Gertrude Stein.
Baubles which shade and shove.
A lady.
And render clean.
Who wrote says.
Render clean must.
She said.
Drink pups.
In a strange way.
Drink pups.
She said.
Drink pups lease.
Things she wrote.
A sash holds.
Said says.
See it shine.
She wrote words.
And a bobolink
she wrote
has
words.
Pins. It shows a nail.
She wrote.
What is a nail?
In a strange.
A nail is unison.
Yet in a
sweet, sweet,
strange way.
Sweet, sweet, sweet tea.
And moi, oh, da da, da da da, da 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 da, oh, da da, pa oh, pen. Oh, pen. Das ist der Cover. Das ist Cover. Cover. Da. Go. God a dog, God a dog, God a dog. Oh, fa 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 ta fa fa ta ta fa fa ta ta fa fa ta 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 ta.
Eep. Eep. Eep.
Olketje.
Zibba.
Zakateta.
Zibba. Zibba.
Po. Worka.
Po.
Fada. Zanama.
Vava.
Zanama. Oh. Mano.
Pa ta.
Oh.
Ta.
Oh.
Pa ta.
Oh.
Pa ta. Pa ta.
Yes.
B-Y.
When
B-Y. I. Wa.
Bolivia.
Why not?
Sit.
Why?
Papa.
Oh.
Pio.
Wa. Wa. Da.